have just seen, that is debate. There is something being in your mind. Debate is not something that you are trying to convey, a simple message, just trying to win your stance. Debate is not just about speaking some random words that you make into a sentence to persuade another person. That's not it. As we have just seen from the movie, a debate, through very carefully chosen words, you wring a person's heart, and through that deep-minded persuasion, that is debate. That is what you should strive to achieve. And although that level of debate may be only open to some very little, few privileged people, it is all what you should try to achieve. So therefore, in this 10th half camp debate, we are trying to open a new potential, and a new opening for you to become a person as persuasive as those we have just seen through the movie. Okay? Let me ask you a question. Why do you do debate? Choice and solutions. Why do you do debate? You don't know? What about you?
Just to learn about many ideas.
To learn many new ideas. What about you? Why do you learn debate? Anyone? You don't know? Okay. See, a lot of you really don't know why you're learning debate. Maybe many of you, I think, you're just sitting here and learning debate because we're teaching you debate, right? It's part of the curriculum. I understand. When I was in middle school, I had to learn debate. I really didn't want to because I thought that I could do something more useful during that time. But as time passed, I saw something in debate that came one of the most important factors that would constitute me, that would bring me up here on the podium in front of you guys and tell you about what I know about debate. Debate, as I have mentioned before, is not just telling people what you think and just saying some random sentences. That's not it. Through debate, you are learning how to respect other people. Through debate, you take a stance that is given to you, and through that stance, you're going to give arguments in a logical and a polite manner. That gives you time to learn respect and learn how to think what other people think, okay? That is one of the most important aspects of debate that you should always keep in mind. Debate is not about fighting. Debate is about understanding, okay? Also, when you're trying to understand and persuade other people, logic always comes along. When you are talking with your friend, your family members, anyone, when you have a different argument, it is most likely you will start a catfight. You will punch each other. You will insult another person. That is not a debate. That will lead you nowhere. A debate is constituted with firm logic. You need to be logical with your arguments and your evidence, and you're going to use that as your You're going to use that as a weapon, and you're going to persuade the other person, and you're going to show the other person why you think that way, and perhaps, if you're good enough, you'll be able to earn that person's respect. Do we all understand? Okay. What we're going to do so we had a week of learning debate. So your debate teachers must have taught you some part of debate, what debate is about, what you need to do in a debate, what type of debate we're doing. Okay? We're going to go over this once more, okay, very briefly. Don't worry if you don't understand everything, because we have about another week before the preliminary rounds start. So right now, this is a very brief introduction, okay? And this is what we're going to talk about. Okay, sequence of speeches. You must know this by heart, and you need to understand it one by one. First speakers, on the government team, we have the Prime Minister. On the opposition team, we have the Leader of Opposition. Second speakers, they're called the Deputy Speakers. On the government team, we have the Deputy Prime Minister. On the opposition team, we have the Deputy Leader of Opposition. Third speakers, they're called the Whip Speakers. We have the government whip and the opposition whip. Last speakers, they're called the reply. So we have the opposition reply and then the government reply. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very easy to understand. There are only 4 types of speakers. Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Deputy, Whip, and lastly, reply. It's not hard to understand nor memorize, okay? So always keep in mind what types of roles there are. And through this orientation, you're also going to memorize and learn by heart what each role is supposed to do. So let's start with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, as the first speaker of the debate, is going to introduce the motion. But when you're introducing the motion, you need to clarify what that motion means to the audience, the judge, and the other team. Therefore, one of the key important aspects of what the Prime Minister needs to do is to give the definition. You're going to explain key terms or key words in that motion, and you're going to clarify what that motion means. Second, you're going to present your team position. You're going to tell the people as the government team, you agree to the motion, okay? And lastly, you're going to make arguments. Tell people why you agree to the motion. Now the second speaker for the debate is the Leader of Opposition. Likewise, as the first speaker of the opposition team, the Leader of Opposition holds a very similar stance to the Prime Minister. First, you're going to reply to the definition. For example, you might say, "Thank you, Prime Minister, for clarifying the motion and giving a precise definition." Second, like the Prime Minister, you're going to present your team position. You're going to tell the audience that you are opposing or you're against the motion. Third, you're going to give rebuttals. Remember that the Prime Minister has given 1 or 2 arguments. You're going to rebut to those arguments and say that those arguments are wrong, and you're going to present your ideas and reasons why those arguments are wrong. Lastly, you're going to make arguments as to why your team opposes to the motion. Now the second speakers for each team are the deputy speakers. On the government team, we have the deputy prime minister, and on the opposition team, we have the deputy leader of opposition. First, what you have to do is you're going to defend your team's arguments. Remember that the other team has attacked your team's arguments. You're going to defend your arguments by saying those attacks are wrong, and you're going to provide valid information as to why those attacks are wrong, and therefore your argument stands strong. Second, you're going to attack the other team's arguments. You're going to rebut to those arguments and tell the people why those arguments are wrong, and therefore their stance on the motion is wrong as well. Lastly, like the first speaker for each team, you're going to make arguments and tell the people why your team and your stance on the motion is right. Now we have the third speakers. The third speakers are called the whip speakers. Now the whip speakers have a very unique role because they have to understand the flow of the debate. What you're going to do first is you're going to summarize your position. Therefore, you might tell the audience what your team's arguments were. Accordingly, you're going to go to the second step, which is about talking about clash points. Now, what are clash points? In your arguments, there are going to be core values. You're going to identify those core values and you're going to compare them with the other teams. If you have similar core values or the same core values, you're going to tell the other team, the audience, and the judge why your arguments better defend the core value. If you have different core values, you're going to tell the people why your team's values are superior to the other team's values. Lastly, you're going to give rebuttals. This is the last time for your team to give rebuttals and tell why the other team has given wrong statements, okay? And also, we have put that the whip speakers cannot make new arguments. Keep this in mind because this is a very important point. The only time you can give new arguments is during the first and second speakers. The whip speakers may give new rebuttals, they may give new ideas, new examples, that is all okay. But you cannot give new arguments, okay? So always keep that in mind. The last speakers are called the reply speakers. The reply speakers are like the conclusion in an essay. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to summarize the debate. When you're summarizing the debate, you're going to think like the judge. Think objectively how the debate has flown. What were important points in the debate? And you're going to point those out to the judge and show the people that are listening to the debate how the debate was. Second, what you're going to do is you're going to summarize your team. Tell the people listening to the debate what your team has done. Those might be arguments, rebuttals, examples, whatever. You're going to show the people, especially the judge, what your team has done and what your feats are. Lastly, you're going to prove superiority. This means that you are going to compare your team with the other team, and you're going to show why your team has done better than the other team. You need to give specific examples when you do this. Do not be vague, because the judge will not be able to follow you, and they will not be able to agree with you if you are vague. So therefore, give specific examples through summarizing your team, okay?
Thank you. A round of applause, please. So, I want you to raise your hand if this is the first time you're hearing about this kind of format. 오늘 처음 들어봤다. Yes. 많이 혼란스럽죠? 네, 많이 혼란스러운 게 당연해요. 이 포맷이 쉬운 포맷은 아니에요. 차라리 1대1이 되게 쉽거든요. But 3-on-3 is much more interesting, just in my personal opinion. So, 오늘 introduce 해줬으니까 차차 알아가면 되거든요, with your debate teachers. Okay. So let's review just one more time for those of you who are new to this. 이거 새로 배우는 사람 위해서 오늘 여러분한테 하기 위해서 mock debate를 하나 준비했어요. mock debate. mock debate를 하나 할 건데 여기 선생님, lovely teachers will be serving as our debaters today. debaters를 할 거예요. 여기가 바로 찬성, the government 팀이고요. 여기가 바로 opposition, 반대팀입니다. Our teachers today will show you a mock debate based on this resolution. 시작할게요. Good afternoon이 아니라, okay. 자, good afternoon 하기 전에, 선생님들이 좀 잘못한 거가 몇 개 있을 거예요. 잘못하는 거. 여러분 점수 깎일 내용들이 선생님이 직접 보여줄 거예요. 그럼 그거를 관찰하고, 파악해내세요. 제가 물어볼 거니까. 네. Okay. So, 시작해도 되죠? Teachers are ready? So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the Prime Minister to the podium.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Speaker, timekeeper, and my fellow debaters. I'm very honored to be here as a Prime Minister for today's Santa Claus resolution that he should lose weight. Okay. Before moving on to our own argument, I'd like to define our resolution first. Losing weight means go on a special diet. We're not sure, but Santa Claus has lived more hundreds of years now. And he, Madam Speaker, is a very, very old man right now. With these definitions, this House strongly recommend that Santa go on a diet. We all love Santa Claus and we all care about his health, right? Okay, what if he does not exercise and he keeps getting fat? He's an old man, so if he gets fatter, he will suffer from any disease, okay? So he will not give present anymore, and finally the world will lose him. We will lose happiness, we will lose hope. For this reason, the this house believes that Santa should lose his weight. Thank you very much.
자, 첫 번째 스피커는 잘못한 게 없었어요. Very excellent delivery and 내용. Oh, the pauses. Okay, alright. Let's see the chart, please. Okay. So what was she supposed to do? 원래 해야 되는 일이 뭐였죠? 자, define the debate. 여러분 거기 다 써 있어요. Define the debate 해야 되고, 그쵸? Define the debate 했죠. Losing weight가 어떤 의미인지, 여기서 어떻게 사용할 건지 그 expression, 그 표현을, 그거를 define을 했어요. 그 다음에 present team position. 우린 찬성이다. 이렇게 말을 해줬죠. 그리고 make one or two arguments. 네. Who is Santa Claus 했고, he should take care of his body. Santa Claus will suffer many diseases if he does not lose weight. 라는 argument을 제시를 했어요. 너무 잘했죠? Okay. Thank you, Prime Minister. I would like to now hear from the Leader of Opposition. Welcome the Leader of Opposition to the podium.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for giving a clear definition of the motion. The House of Opposition believes that Santa should not lose weight. For the statements before, our House believes that his duty is already an exercise. His duties are very demanding. Imagine, he is busy lifting gifts and delivering all the gifts from North Pole to every house and going down the chimneys and escaping before anyone sees. Therefore, his job is already a same form of exercising. In addition, he is an old man. Therefore, it's burdensome for old people's health to lose weight. He might get stressed or get other diseases by losing weight. For these reasons, the House of Opposition believes that Santa should not lose weight. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition. 예, 이번에도 파우터 없었어요. 잘못은 없었고. Let's see what she had to do. She had to respond to PM's definition. Definition 해줘서 고맙다. Respond 했죠. 자, disagree 하지 않으면, definition이 좀 마음에 안 들면 웬만하면은 공격하지 마시고 thank you 이렇게 넘어가시면 됩니다. 근데 너무 불리하게 했다, 내 팀한테. 그러면 그때 respond 제대로 하시면 돼요. 오케이? 그 다음에 present team position in case 여기 똑같죠? 우린 반대다 이렇게 하시면 되고 rebut government's arguments. 아까 argument 줬잖아요? rebut, 반박하시면 됩니다. 그 다음 make one or two arguments 하면 됐는데 드세요? 괜찮아요? Santa Claus's duty is already an exercise. 뭔 말이냐? 벌써 일하는 게 그게 운동이지. 이렇게 rebut 했어요. 그다음에 a slim body is not good for old people's health. stress까지 나왔었죠? 이렇게 잘했습니다. 다 따라오고 있어요? Debate? Okay. Let's hear now from the Deputy Prime Minister. 자, 이번에는 하나 정말 큰 실수를 하실 거예요. 일부러. 그거를 포착을 해보세요.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition, for your speech. The Leader of Opposition stated that working is a form of exercise. However, this is not true. Working is not the same as exercising. Take sumo wrestlers, for example. Even though they exercise constantly, they are still fat. Santa just sits on his sled, gets pulled by his reindeer, and drops off presents. This hardly amounts to exercise. The opposition side also stated that a slim body is bad for old age. However, our argument was that Santa should lose weight to be healthy and to get in good shape. We did not imply that he should be as slim, as this can cause other health issues. This government also believes that Santa's weight makes it difficult for him to make his deliveries on time. In other words, his work efficiency will be reduced. In addition to that, it is animal abuse because Santa's weight puts a lot of burden on the reindeer and exhausts them. Poor Rudolph! Animal rights are really important, right? Do you agree? Therefore, for these reasons, we the government agree to the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. 뭘 잘못했죠? What did she do wrong? Yes.
디베이트 할 때 I랑 U를 쓰면 안 돼요.
I랑 U를 쓰면 안 돼요. 네, 그렇긴 합니다만. 그렇긴 해요. 맞습니다. 예. I랑 U보다는 the government team, the opposition team, 요렇게 this house, opposition and the opposition, this house 하면 안 돼요. 그렇게 하셔도 됩니다. 근데 또 너무 큰 잘못이 있었는데 큰 것 중에 작은 걸, 큰 거 하나, 그냥 shout it out. Off topic 했죠. Where did she go off topic? 난 몰랐는데. 유유, right? Animal rights로 넘어왔어요. So please don't go off topic. 여러분 우습죠 지금? 왜 저렇게 말해? 여러분 정말 많이 범하는 실수예요. 자기도 모르게. 지금은 재밌게 하려고 정말 막 out of topic 이만큼 갔지만 여러분 여기서 중심에서 약간 살짝씩 이렇게 벗어나는 경우가 되게 많아요. So be careful to stay on topic. Alright? Okay. So the job of the deputy prime minister is to defend, right? 그러니까 여기서 attack 들어왔었죠. 그 일이 exercise지. 근데 여기서 또 아닌데 루돌프가 끌어주잖아. 그거는 이 exercise가 아니지. defend 했죠. 그 다음에 attack opposition's argument 하고 make one or two arguments 해야 되는데 yes 했죠. 이거 했고 sentence weight affects his delivery efficiency. 새로운 argument가 나왔어요. 그러니까 효율성이 떨어진다. 너무 뚱뚱하니까 힘들고 그렇죠? 이렇게 따라가고 힘들다 이렇게 나왔어요. 너무 잘했죠? Except going off topic. Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Now let's hear from the Deputy Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, government. Thank you, the fellow audience. This deputy leader of the opposition wants to say that Santa still works enough exercises. Santa packs gifts, he carries them all, and he brings them to all the doors of every good kid in the world in just one night. That means these are already enough exercises. And also, the opposition team wants to point out that bring up the idea of animal abuse of Rudolph of the government team is an off topic. Also, extreme pressure of losing weight will make Santa so stressed out and stressful. Then what would happen? Then it will lead on to his mental breakdown like that. And what would happen then? Nobody will get a gift from him. It will decrease his work efficiency eventually. Also, we should respect Santa as he is. We should respect his own body. We should not make him feel shame on himself. Okay? Santa is not fat. He is just fairly big. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. 이번에는 잘못한 게 아니라 there was one very important tip that you should learn from her. 정말 중요한 거 정말 잘한 게 하나 있어요. 혹시 아시는 분? 예. 오, 그렇죠. 주제에서 벗어났다고 지적했어요. 다른 상대방 팀을. 네, 잘했습니다. So, 상대방 팀이 예. 상대방 팀이 잘못을 했을 때 저지가 우리 하시는 분이 알아서 점수 깎겠지 이렇게 가만히 있으시면 안 돼요. Judge, the other team is going off topic. 이렇게 말을 해줘야 돼요. 지적을 해주는 건 정말 잘하는 겁니다. 네, 이해하셨어요? 예. Okay, so the deputy leader of opposition 똑같은 거 하면 돼요. Deputy Prime Minister이랑 뭘 했는지 볼까요? Extreme pressure of losing weight makes Santa stressed. 여기 새로운 argument 같은데? We should respect Santa as he is. 이거 새로운 argument죠. 그러니까 body image에 관한 것 같아요. We don't have the right to tell him what to do. Don't shame him. 이런 것 같아요. Okay. Thank you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. Now I'd like to hear from the government whip. 정말 대단한 선생님이겠지만 오늘은 실수하실 거예요. 포착해내셔야 돼요. 네.
Thank you. In today's debate, we discussed matters referring to health, work efficiency, and body image regarding whether or not Santa should go on a diet. Out of the three, health seems as a core topic of our discussion. This
government argued that considering his old age, it is essential to exercise and lose some weight. Also, the government pointed out that his diet is only advised for acquiring good shape, not for becoming slim, and his current physique will reduce his work efficiency. On the other hand, the opposing argument viewed his duty of delivering gifts to children is also a form of exercising, and that he is only large, not fat. Also, they argued that accusing Santa of being fat is an act of fat shaming, and it will only increase his stress. Now, I would like to rebut. First of all, the argument which views Santa's duty as exercising does not seem persuading due to the fact that his reindeers are always at health. This house believes that someone being a large figure is traditionally understood as overweight and do not understand why Santa Claus is okay with remaining to be a large figure. As the Prime Minister mentioned earlier, it is evident that overweight is likely to cause numerous complications, including high blood pressure and diabetes. Moreover, this house believes that a certain amount of stress is necessary in order to obtain better health for Santa for his own good. Lastly, this house believes that fat shaming is understood only as an excuse from the overweight community universally today. Thank you.
Thank you. 크게 잘못한 게 하나 있었죠. 네, shout it out. 네, eye contact. 자, 갈수록 여기에 이렇게 빠지는 그런 모습을 보여주셨어요. 여러분 되게 우습죠? 안 그럴 것 같죠? 여러분 다 그래요. 챔피언십 가도 그러더라고요. 특히 프라임 미니스터나 리더 오브 오포지션 같은 경우는 리버럴이 아니라 먼저 준비해오는 거기 때문에 읽는 경우가 정말 많아요. But remember, 지금 집중하기 쉬웠어요, 혹시? 아니죠. 집중하기가 되게 힘들어요. 왜냐하면 debate is about communication. 소통이에요. 싸우는 소통이기 때문에 이렇게 하면은 이렇게 해서 제가 설명을 한다면 되게 집중하기 힘들겠죠, 지금 여러분? 여러분의 눈빛을 하나하나 지금 최대한 봐주려고 노력하고 있어요. 제 노력이 보이시나요? 네, 이렇게 노력하셔야 합니다. Yes. Okay. So what was the whip's job? Summarize and defend own position, identify and summarize clashes. Clashes 아까 말했죠. Core value가 둘이 충돌을 할 때, right? 그 다음에 explain how your team won every argument issue. 그 clash 우리가 이렇게 이겼고, 저 clash는 우리가 저렇게 이겼고, 이 clash는 우리가 이렇게 이겼다라고 설명을 할 수 있어야 돼요. Make the judge agree with you that you won this debate. 이렇게 다 설명을 할 수 있어야 합니다. Okay, let's see how she did. So she identified the clashes, health, efficiency, 많이 이런 문제가 나왔다. 우리 디베이트에서. 근데 losing weight is the only way for Santa to remain healthy 라고 생각한다. 이렇게 정리를 딱 해주셨죠. 너무 잘했는데 집중하기가 참 힘들었어요. Right? Because she wasn't making eye contact. 자, 그러면 let's hear from the opposition whip. 이 선생님도 정말 훌륭한 선생님이겠지만 오늘은 실수 하나 하실 거예요. 잘 보시면 됩니다.
Great, thank you, Madam Speaker. As the whip speaker of opposition, I'd like to assure you that Santa is perfectly fine the way he is right now, as his weight does not negatively affect his health, his work efficiency, or his appearance. I will now move on to clash identification and talk more about our team's stance on some key points. The three clashes of today's debate were, number 1, health, number 2, work efficiency, and 3, body shaming. Health has perhaps been the biggest clash among the three. The government insists that Santa is likely to suffer from certain illnesses because he is obese. The opposition, on the other hand, believes that Santa is getting enough exercise from his work alone and does not need extra workout. To elaborate on this point, clash number 1, I would like to point out that Santa's job not only is about delivering gifts across the globe during Christmas season, but also involves purchasing and wrapping gifts beforehand, responding to letters and cards from around the world, taking care of his assistants, including elves and reindeers, and so on. This requires a lot of physical energy, which we would consider to be enough for someone his age. Due to his old age, he cannot and should not be getting the amount of exercise that young people would ideally get. We would therefore like to restate that we, the opposition, firmly believe that there is no reason for Santa to lose his weight because his work provides him with enough exercise, because he gets his job done, and because he should not be respected for his work. He should be respected for his work rather than his appearance. Thank you.
Thank you. 무엇을 잘못했는지 확인하셨나요? Yes, just shout it out for me. 머리 만지고 또 기대고 또 손짓 막 요거 하고 또 many things, but it's all about your posture. 여러분 자세에 관련한 겁니다. 네, it's very hard to focus when someone is leaning on the podium, touching their hair. 근데 이게 여러분 안 할 것 같잖아요. 해요. Why? Because you're nervous. When you're nervous, you start to do things that calm you down, and this calms down many people, girls. And naturally 이렇게 손이 가요. 이렇게. But make sure that you're nervous. Nervous한 거 괜찮아요. It's okay for you to be nervous, but don't show it like this, or like this, 짝다리, or like this, right? Your posture affects how the audience accepts what you're saying, right? So please be careful of your posture. 준비했을 때 딱 괜찮을 때 시작하세요. 그럼 nervous하지 않아요. Okay? So she was supposed to do the same thing the government whip did, right? So let's see what she did. So she identified 3 clashes: health, work efficiency, body image. 딱 집어줬죠. 그 다음에 health가 제일 컸었다. 제일 큰 clash다. 그래서 그걸 설명을 했었죠. Santa's job is more than delivering packages and provides him with enough exercise for his age. 이거는 운동이다. 그 다음에 his weight does not affect his work efficiency. That seems to be the same thing. What? 근데 이해하기가 좀 어렵죠. posture이나 delivery가 나쁘기 때문에. Right? Okay, so let's hear from the government reply, opposition reply. 찬성 반대, 찬성 반대, 찬성 반대, 반대 찬성입니다. 네. opposition reply 먼저 들어볼게요. 실수를 파악하시면 돼요. 이번에도.
Thank you for the speakers beforehand. And throughout the debate, we discussed about the motion that if Santa Claus should lose weight or not. First of all, I'd like to restate that the Santa is already performing the exercise while he was doing his job. And so his weight doesn't reflect one's health or work efficiency. Just because it's large, it doesn't have any influence on someone's health or working performance. And lastly, people shouldn't do fat shaming of someone's body image. For these reasons, again, the opposition team believes that Santa should not lose weight. Thank you.
네, thank you, leader of opposition. 너무 clear하죠. 뭐가 잘못됐죠? 한국말 썼습니다. Yes. Remember that this is an English debate competition, so every time you use Korean, whether you intended to or not, your points will be deducted. Okay? 이거 되게 우습잖아요, 여러분. 우습지 않아. 일주일 후 여러분의 모습은 아니겠죠? 네, 많이들 그래요. 왜냐면 nervous 하니까 뭐였지? 팀메이트한테 야, 수영이 영어로 뭐야? 이러는 애들 진짜 많아요. Please don't. Don't ask your teammates when you're making a speech, okay? Please be careful. So the opposition replied, she was supposed to summarize the argument and argue why your team won. 마지막으로 피력할 수 있는 그 chance예요. So she said Santa Claus's job is exercise, weight does not reflect health or efficiency. Nicely summarizes their side, right? So last but not least, let's hear from the Prime Minister for the government reply. 여기도 fault가 있어요. 네, 실수가 2개 있을 거예요. 2개. In this scene. So find 2 faults.
Thank you, leader of opposition.
question for your question, right? However, I'd like to point out that working can be the same as exercise. No, we did not mean that. We meant that his extra weight is the problem and it could give negative effects. So, therefore, he should exercise to be in a good shape. In addition, our core value to brand is may also sentence health. To be healthy and increases delivery efficiency, Santa should lose his weight. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. 자, 뭐가 안 좋았죠? Voice, right? So her voice was way too small for people to understand. Make sure your voice is loud and clear and confident, okay? When you're speaking. 자, 하나 더 잘못한 게 있었죠, 이 디베이트에서. 누굴까요?
빨라요.
너? 빨라요? It's not about her. It's not about her. 여기 있습니다. 여기 범인은 바로 여기 leader of opposition한테 있는데요. Even when you're done with your speech, show that you're interested in this debate. 이 디베이트에 정말 내가 관심이 있다. 정말 이 주제에 내가 센터에 대한 걱정이 정말 높다라는 걸 보여주기 위해서는 여러분이 끝까지 note taking하고 상대방이 뭘 얘기하는지 듣는 모습을 끝까지 보여주셔야 돼요. 어떤 사람들은 준비하고 딱 와서 읽고 내려놓고 가서 딴짓해요. 이렇게. 절대로 그러시면 안 돼요, right? It doesn't show that you're engaged with this debate, alright? So make sure that you stay focused until the very end of this debate. Huh? Okay. Okay, let's see what she said. The government reply said, losing weight is the only way for Santa to stay healthy and efficient. 이거 말했어요. 여러분 안 들렸지만 말했습니다. 네, 말했습니다. So, thank you debaters. Let's take a vote again. Who thinks Santa should lose weight? 자, 바뀌었나 봅시다. 산타가 살을 빼야 된다. 손. 네. 아직도 government 반대. 와, 더 많아진 것 같기도 하고. 네. Hands down. A round of applause, please, for all the debaters. 이 mock debate를 통해서 여러분이 모두를 잘 이해했으면 좋겠어요. 이거 잠깐만.